Jeffrey is the worst, most disrespectful, least friendly friend that you have. It's so weird. He sees you being productive and improving your life. He sees you going to the gym and meditating and reading and journaling, and he disrespects you for it. What kind of person would be negative to you when you're doing something positive in your life? But the responsibility is on you to be more cutthroat and to deal with this situation. Adonis. Although Adonis is kind and loving, he also has so much respect for himself that he will not allow anyone to stay in his life if he doesn't think that they are worthy. Adonis is cutthroat, and he has to be because he is the tribe leader. One of the things that I struggle with most is cutting people off or rejecting them or breaking up with girls, or even like breaking up friendships. I can think back to my first official relationship where we got together in university. She was the first girl that I had ever slept with, and so of course that has like a very special bonding moment. I wanted to end the relationship months before it actually ended. Imagine being in a relationship with someone, maybe you can relate to this. Imagine being in a relationship with someone and literally wanting to break up, but just not doing it because you were kind of afraid of having that conversation and hurting that person and feeling that level of discomfort that comes with breaking up. And so I lived like that for months, still spending time with her, but just overthinking and not wanting to really be with her, but not having the courage to break up. And the exact same thing happened with then the second girlfriend that I had after that, like 2 years after that. And that time it was for 9 months. Maybe longer, maybe about a year. We were together for about 3 years, and maybe for about a year of it, I was totally unhappy. And this was way more problematic because we lived together. This is the girl I speak about often because she's one of the most like significant women in my life. We lived together, we spent a year, 2 years, 3 years, almost every single day together. And for a large part of that time, I wanted to cut her off, I wanted to break up, I wanted to leave, I didn't want to be with her, but I didn't act on it. And I've realized looking back at these experiences and also looking back at some experiences like with friends, like there was a guy that I used to coach. So I used to do like self-improvement coaching when I was first starting my online business. And there was a client that I had who I actually wanted to like cut off, but I didn't for like months. And the exact same thing. And like it wasn't like working very well. He didn't have like the humility, at least in my perception, he didn't have the humility to really take my advice seriously. And so it felt like a bit useless to continue having our calls and me trying to help him on his self-improvement journey. And so I stayed in these situations, these relationships for way longer than I should have. I've never been much of a cutthroat guy, but just maybe in the last couple of months, I can really see the value of it. And it's something that you would really benefit from implemented into your life. There was a quote that I heard once. I think it's from this guy called Richard Cooper. I remember reading like or listening to one of his books, and he said something like, hire slowly, fire quickly. And essentially what that means, hire slowly, fire quickly, is take time, be patient, and truly analyze and evaluate the people who are coming into your life. Really spend time to like make sure that they are the right people who you work with, who you date, who you befriend. But when there is signs that this is not going to work out, he said to act on those signs quickly. He said to fire them quickly. What I would say is at least act on them and have that conversation like fast. I would always avoid those sort of awkward conversations when someone had done something that disrespected me, or when I wasn't really liking this person anymore. I would never just bring up that conversation for fear of the discomfort of it. My new mindset is when I meet someone, I'm somewhat open to getting to know them, whether this is a potential friend or a girl that I want to date. I don't really keep my distance, but I do keep a level of like critical analysis, which I know maybe doesn't seem very healthy, and a lot of like normal people will say that this is like wrong. But I think you'll probably understand that this is probably the right way to live, which is okay to, when someone comes into your life, for you to really think, okay, is this a good person? What's wrong with them? What's right with them? What do I like about them? What do I not like about them? To really evaluate these things, because most people don't. Most people just kind of meet someone and then just, oh yeah, like, the logistics work out. We live kind of close. Let's go party. Let's go have sex together. Let's do this and let's do this. Let's spend some time together. They don't actually sit there and like journal about this new person and think, okay, is this a good person? Because that quote that is so true. You're the average of the 5 people you spend time with. One of the things you should do, imagine no one does this, right? Imagine how different you would be if you did this. Every person that you meet who you think you've got potential to spend more time with, again, whether it's a friend or a girl that you would probably date, journal about them and ask yourself that question, like write that quote down. You are the average of the 5 people you spend time with. And then ask yourself, do you want to be more like them? Truly ask yourself with no fucking filter, do you want to be more like them? And if the answer is no, and you respect yourself, you'll walk away. Maybe you'll tell them the truth, or you'll kind of somewhat sugarcoat it to like not really offend their feelings, but just kind of tell them, oh, sorry, I'm not interested, I'm too busy, whatever. Most people don't respect themselves or value themselves enough to go through a process like this, and so most people will actually find what we're saying here very like cringe and awkward and negative. But you have to have this level of exclusivity to yourself, your time, your feelings, the people who are close to you. I just had a group of guys here yesterday, so I'm in my villa in Thailand. Sam's there editing a video, and then we had two of our good friends, Jack and Bill, with us, and we just recorded a video talking about the importance of brotherhood and how to meet high value men and like become friends with them. And one of the things that I said which really hit me in this video was that if there's one way to change your life trajectory like this, like full on, imagine your trajectory is a certain way and it fucking changes significantly. If there's one thing that can do that, it's someone else. It's meeting someone else. Because you can, I mean, there's probably a bunch of other things now that my mind's thinking, okay, well, there could be like a near-death experience, there could be a death of a family member, there could be a psychedelic trip, but at least the one that you have sort of total control over, which isn't, you know, a substance that you need to take or anything, is okay. Meet someone who's on a very, very good trajectory in life, and suddenly you two are now bouncing off each other and essentially like mentoring / coaching each other, and there's so much value to that. But you miss out on these opportunities when you don't respect yourself enough that you keep around like these Jeffrey friends. Now, I feel like I'm one of the very few guys who says this, that when you're getting onto self-improvement and you're becoming more successful, try your absolute best to bring the people who started with you up with you. So, you know, you've got these friends from high school, from college, bring them up with you, get them onto self-improvement as best as you can. Like, see that as your responsibility, see that as your act of leadership, because that's a beautiful experience. I've kind of done that with my friend Sam. He was my first employee, my first video editor. I got him on this like website called Fiverr, like that's where I kind of like hired him, and we spoke, and he just edited my videos, and you know, we ended up speaking more and more, and we became somewhat like good friends. But this was all like online, and I say this every time I speak to him, I say this with absolutely no insult, and he agrees. Like, he lived the ultimate Jeffrey life just 2 years ago, like full on. He was a full on Twitch streamer. Like, he's the kind of guy who would live stream on Twitch for literally 12 hours a day. He would wake up at 4 p.m. So he was a full on literal Jeffrey, with not even saying this as an insult, just an objective fact. And I literally wrote these things about him, like, okay, do I want to become more like him? Not necessarily, I don't want to be a fucking Jeffrey, but there's a lot of like hidden gems in his personality that like are coming out as we spoke more. And so he became more like me, I became more like him. I've become a lot funnier since I've been around him. I've become a lot more like rational thinking, because I'm way more of an emotional guy. He's way more rational and objective, and our personalities are kind of like opposites, which complement each other really nicely. And so over the last 1.5 years or so, whilst we've been working together, I've been growing, and my success has really went a lot higher than it used to be when we first met. And I've had this feeling of like, yep, like I'm bringing Sam up with me. Now he's doing so well that he's reaching his own success outside of me, which is so inspiring, and it makes me so happy to see. Try your best, like, you have these Jeffrey friends, try your absolute best to bring them up with you, but there is a lot of truth in the conversation we need to have, which is like, sometimes you just can't really bring someone up with you, and that is when you need to implement the advice of this video, which is to be more cutthroat. It's not easy, and I wish I had like great advice that would make it easier. It's not easy. Like, everything that I say, I always come back to the same analogy with every piece of advice I say. It's kind of like, it's a skill. Remember how skills in video games used to work? You used to get like the skill of attack, or in this case, the skill of rejecting people, cutting people off. And we mostly have like a low level in this skill because we've never leveled it up before. We've never gained experience, XP in this skill. And so we need to start. And so when you're level 1 or level 0 in this skill, you're not good at it. So it's gonna feel awkward, it's gonna feel weird, it's gonna take a while for you to reject this person. But the more you implement and use this skill, the more experience you gain, the higher the skill level, the easier it feels, and the more sort of rewarding it feels. Because the first few times I cut people off, and I debated these decisions for 6-9 months. It was a horrible, like gut-wrenching feeling. And now in the last couple of months, it's felt way more masculine, purposeful, like it's coming from a place of strength. I really have like high standards for myself now. I think a lot of this boils down to the level of respect that you have for yourself. And I said this to my friend Jack just a few days ago. I said, no, it was literally just yesterday. And this fits with the video so much. I fired one of my video editors. So there was this guy who's worked for me for a while. I fired him yesterday. I really despised his attitude recently. He had a very like negative attitude. I didn't want to work with him. And so I debated the decision for a day, sent him a couple of messages, we spoke about it, and then he still had like this kind of like negative, sort of just insulting, disrespecting attitude. So I just fired him straight there. Like, I was in a cafe, I didn't even really truly expect to do it then, but I was was like, nope, like I'm not gonna wait any longer to make this decision like I have done previously. Boom. So I walked into a different part of the cafe where Jack was sat. He was in like the air conditioning room. I went into there, told him, and I said, like, I feel so proud of myself because a decision like this I would have weighed up for a month, 2 months, 3 months previously, and I've just done it like that. And like, I had the thought of it like 24 hours ago, but fully finalized it today, just sent it done. Boom. He gave me a fist bump, and he could see that I was like proud of myself for that. So you're watching this video, maybe there's someone in mind for you. There's someone in mind, or maybe more than one person, but probably like one person who you are fully debating cutting off. You want this video to help you take this practical step right now. Straight after this video, just spend some time journaling and thinking, because you don't realize how important, how influential decisions like this actually are, and how different your life could be, hopefully improved your life could be after you make this decision. Spend a couple of minutes just journal about this person. Ask yourself, do I want to be more like them? Ask yourself, is this someone who's valuing me as a person? Is this someone who's valuing my time? And if you do come to the conclusion that this person isn't good for you and that things would be best if you were not friends or together anymore, act on it ASAP. It's almost like you've got to walk towards the issue, you know, like start the conversation before you totally feel ready for it. You can subscribe to our channel if you want to. Do the hard work, especially when you don't feel like it. Mwah.